Hi, everyone. This is Jose Vega, Federal Court Certified Interpreter. I just wanted to do a quick video that goes along with the article that I posted on the website on the blog, legaltranslations.net. And it has to do with where do you find a translator? Where do you find a translator that can translate a document to be presented in court? Now, I'll do a separate video regarding what is the difference between a translator and an interpreter. But for now, suffice it to say that they are two different things. A translator translates documents. And we do have a list of certified court interpreters, and that's what most attorneys are used to. As an attorney, you're used to getting an interpreter that will interpret for a witness. You have a witness, or you have an interpreter translating simultaneously for your client. If you have a Spanish-speaking client, which is the most common, or any other language here in the United States. So we do have registries of certified interpreters, but what about a translator? Where do we get a translator? Now, immigration has one requirement, says that every translation should have a statement by the translator stating that they are fluent in the language and that they have done the translation to the best of their ability. They're supposed to provide an address and something like that. It doesn't even need to be notarized. But an interpreter isn't really a translator. In fact, it's my experience as the owner of Legal Translations that interpreters tend to be not that good. Translators, it's better to get a translator that does this full time. So where do you get a translator? Well, you have something called the American Translators Association. They have a list online, and you can get a list of certified translators. So the federal court system does have in one of their administrative documents, a PDF, they do mention that they do prefer translators that are certified either by the American Translators Association or certified federal court interpreters, which I happen to be one. It is better to have someone that is a professional translator. Now, having said that, you turn that into a judge, and the judge won't know the difference between a translator and interpreter. They'll many times they'll just prefer to have a certificate of translation, a certificate of accuracy, as we call it, that is signed by an interpreter, a court interpreter, even though a court interpreter is actually not as good as a translator. So you can do that, and we can provide certificates signed by a court interpreter. I'm usually the one that signs all the certificates, and it has my certificate, my state certification number, and it has my federal certification number on the certificate. But in reality, modern day translation is multi-step. There's at least two steps. You have the translation, and then you have the editing and proofreading. You need to have two translators, or at least a translator and an editor, to check every translation. That's the way it's done in modern times, and that is what is suggested by the ISO 17100 standard. It's a standard that is used mostly in Europe. In the United States, very few companies are using it. But you have to try to go by it. You have to have two qualified individuals, 4 sets of eyes, one translator, and well, 2 sets of eyes, one translator and one editor at least check every translation. You cannot check your own mistakes. It's very hard to do. You don't see it. You're blind to your own mistakes. So that's why you should use preferably a company. If you go to the American Translators Association website, let's say you find a translator, you can work with that guy, or gal. They send you the translation. Now you need to send that to a second translator. This translator will check the errors of the first one. So it gets a little bit more complicated if you do it yourself. Then you don't know if the translator that you got is well qualified for the terminology. So they may have an American Translator Association certification, or they may be on the list, but they may not be that good with legal jargon, right? And that's the process that we have gone through, and we have sifted out the translators that are not good in legal jargon, and we only work with those that are good in legal jargon, and then I review every translation before it gets sent out. So that's a little bit about how you can find a translator online. You can go to the American Translators Association website. You have NAJIT, National Association of Judiciary Interpreters and Translators. However, they don't do an examination. There's no testing there. So the ATA is the only one that actually does testing amongst these two organizations. In other countries, you do have a list of certified translators. The United States does not have that. We do not have a list of certified. So you would have a Translators Association, Translators Bar, just like you have the Florida Bar or any other bar association in the country. In other countries, you have the Bar of Translators. It's an official entity. And in order for the court system to receive a translation, it has to be signed by a member of the bar, the Translators Association. That translator signs that, and it is legalized at the Translators Association office. So where here in the United States, you just need a statement from someone stating that they can translate and they sign it. Other countries are much more strict in their requirements for legal translations. We can go into that in another video as to your translations done here, if they will be accepted in other countries or not. But that's all I wanted to say. Translations, we do have registered lists of interpreters, but not of translators in the United States, official. There is an association that is an independent party, not government controlled, not government regulated, that does certify translators, and you can use that list. And quality-wise, you need to have at least 2 sets of eyes, 1 translator and 1 editor to review every single translation. Well, thank you very much, and like and subscribe. Thank you.